Hey guys, Civilord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mythic Legion's retailer exclusive Lijae of the Elite Elven Guard. This of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Horsemen Studios, as well as Big to Bad Toy Store, which is where the old man got mine for this past Christmas season. And not for nothing, this guy costs $37.99, is it? Which is pre-order price direct from Horsemen. So, you know, good things come to those who wait. This guy's pretty stacked for a figure that only costs that much now. So that's pretty cool. That said, it should be worth noting that this is one of the last figures that utilize a lot of old parts, like Aether to Ilithia wave parts, we'll say, because those were still kind of sort of falling in line with standard 1.0, 2.0 builds and such. Sorry, I had a brain fart. And after this guy, I'm pretty sure the Valiant Knight was a thing. So had this guy not come out when he did, maybe he'd have those parts. But I do have a bit of a kit bash in mind involving some Valiant Knight parts for this guy, but you'll have to stay tuned to a later video to get an idea of that. So, without further ado, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review. Take a look-see at all Lijae has to offer in terms of accessories. Starting off with a pair of alt hands, and for whatever reason, we got an open and a fist hand. I don't know why we don't have two of each, but we don't. We have an alt head, which I guess is based off a real dude, but literally nobody that I know uses his head. It's kind of like Deltagar, which sucks because these people probably paid a lot of money to have a head made of them, but if nobody cares, then nobody cares, unfortunately. That said, we got a pair of armored arms, as well as a pair of armored thighs, because on him he has just black human arms and thighs, which is interesting, but got that going on. As far as weaponry goes, we have the sword, very Elven style sword. We have the Elven shield. Of course, has the handle on it. And a bit of a scratch on the back of mine, but that is what it is. Sure, that can be smoothed out somehow. And we also get, if I can pick it up here, geez, a bow, which actually has a little clip for arrows, which I never noticed before. So, you know, I've only been collecting this line for well over half a decade now, and I just now realized that. It said, how can you have a bow without a quiver? So there you go. That is it for weaponry. But he does have this cool helmet, which, you know, I can set on his head. It doesn't stay on very well. I don't know if it stays on the other head better, because he's got hair, but yeah, it stays on the other head a lot better than the orc head. It's not super loose. That said, I'm more than likely going to turn this guy into a skeleton orc, so, you know, I don't know how much longer this regular orc head will be on here. But that's your lot for accessories. But as far as the figure goes, he's got 2.0 pauldrons. These are like goblin pauldrons. Goblin these nuts. Or even the skeleton soldier. Zarya has these. I don't know if there's a vampire that has these, but these are legit 2.0 style pauldrons. Oop, there we go. He's got 2 straps going across his torso. I think they're red too, so that's nice to get him in a different color. And then he's just got regular, you know, evil knight parts for the shins, for the forearms. The feet are regular knight parts. Almost like a scapular build, in a way. He's got a different belt with a newer loincloth piece. And that is it as far as the build goes. Now, as far as articulation goes, his head will rotate, look up and down, no hinged neck, but this was before all that. Square jet doesn't really get in the way. Lift the arms up. Not that far. Rotate forward and back. It's got a single jointed elbow with rotation. Gauntlet swivel. Incorrect hinge for holding stuff, but it is what it is. Torso can rock around there. Hips will kick out, back down, forward and back. It's got a thigh cut. Single jointed knee with a swivel below the knee, swivel at the foot with a hinge at the foot. And rocker. He also has peg holes at the bottom of his feet. This one has a lot of schmutz sticking off it, so that could be an issue. Yeah, the other one not so much. So yeah, cool figure. I like the orc head, obviously. It's a human orc head. I guess you could just use it as an ugly human if you really wanted to be mean, but it's a cool figure. It comes with a lot of stuff, and if you get it for the sale price, you know, you really can't go wrong. So, setting him back there. Put his helmet on. It really does not stay on this head well. It will sit, but it does not sit well. So, yeah, I wonder if it'll sit better on the skull. So, with that being said, why don't we get this guy geared up and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here we have good old Lijae of the Elite Elven Guard, alongside the other retailer exclusive Mythic Legions offering that was available when he was originally released. We have the Blue Hagnon, a bit of an all-star, I will say, and one that I've had for well over a year now. So if you haven't checked that review out by now, you're probably not going to. But if you haven't, I'm going to ask that you check it out anyways. Really appreciate it if you did, even if it is old as crap. That said, we also have my legendary barbarian slash gladiator, quote-unquote custom, or pop and swap, or lazy boy custom, whichever you prefer. He's using the Atlas V2 gladiator helmet and some of the weapons from the barbarian weapons pack. He also has one of the belts from the belt pack from last year with the little gladius sheathed into it, because the little chain loops from the shackle I was going to use are not actual little chain loops. They're just the chain itself. So once again, I don't know why we got all those scabbards with little loop-de-loops and no chain loop-de-loops to clip them onto anything. Seems kind of stupid. But at any rate, I thought this was a cool kit bash and figured this was the best place to showcase it because, well, I'm not going to be doing Mythic Legions videos for a while, or so it seems. So there you go. Getting these two out of here. So we can bring in our two regulars. The Mythic Legions Brotherman de Belith or in this case just Brother Mandibilith. And the infamous 11 Spawn. It's probably about even with this guy because of his pointy head. Yeah, they are about even. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and if good old Lijae, the head of the elite Elven Guard, has taught us anything, it's that good things come to those who wait. Because not only did this guy go on deep discount to the point where he is practically the same price as most Mythic Legions were during a direct from Four Horsemen pre-order a couple years back. I didn't even have to pay that because I got him for Christmas. But I will say, if you are able to get him for the sale price, you get a lot in the box. A lot more than you would get with an older figure that utilizes a lot of these same parts. You get swappable limbs, swappable heads, multiple weapons, multiple hands. You can't do much better for $37.99, folks. So I would say, if you're sleeping on this guy, don't. Pick him up. He's a fun figure to mess around with. Especially if you don't have a lot of these older parts. Because, well, they're starting to get phased out. Sad to say. But, on one hand, it is nice to see the Horsemen evolve the line, isn't it? Marvel Legends, I'm looking at you with your tons and tons and tons and tons of crappy reuse. So, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.